once sudando la gota, salimos a matar, no queremos derrota. Vamos a levantar la copa, entramos a la cancha con toda la tropa. Somos 11 sudando la gota, salimos a matar, no queremos derrota. Vamos a levantar la copa. This is football.
Welcome to This is Football. Bienvenidos a This is Football. Another Tuesday, another episode, and a new face on the podcast, as everybody can see. We want to welcome Nico Cantor to the podcast. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend of all of us. We all grew up playing together. So thank you very much, Nico, for joining us on this
Daniel,
Tuesday night.
Daniel Socio, thank you, to Nico, to Renier, and all the people here on This is Football. I'm super stoked for you guys and this project. So it's great
brother.
to be on these early stages. So all the best to you guys as well.
Thank you. So let's get into today's topics. We're gonna hit some moments of the weekend, like we always do, and then we really want to get into the focus of the show, which is really about you, Nico. One of your videos kind of went viral and took off, and I want to share it with our followers a little bit later, and we kind of want to dive into you and kind of what you do with your life in the soccer world, and we know how involved you are with that. So we'll go into that, and then maybe some U.S. men's national team, and then we'll finish off with our favorite topic, Inter Miami. I don't know if you know this, but this is the fourth year Inter Miami's been playing. I know you know that, but this was my first game that I've ever been to live at the DRV PNK Stadium.
Oh, nice.
So Saturday was my first game. So we have some videos, and we want to talk about our experience. I went out there with Socio, and so we'll definitely talk about that. So let's get into the moments of the weekend, and just like that, my moment of the weekend, has to be my first time ever at DRV PNK Stadium. So there's my moment of the weekend. There was me and Socio right there. We had a good time. We had a good time with
we did.
With La Barra. They do a really, really special thing out there. We'll get into it a little bit later in the show, but this was my moment of the weekend. And then I want Socio to get into his moment of the weekend. It's a little bit deeper than mine. And it kind of touches the hearts of it kind of hits the home of the This is Football podcast. So Socio, go ahead. I'll play the video, and then I'll let you go ahead.
No. I have to explain what the video is about. This is about our great friend, someone I can call my best friend, Nico, producer and host and creator of This is Football podcast. Today, officially on remission, cancer-free. We can say, we can cuss in here, right? I'm allowed to, right? We can say fuck cancer, officially. Beautiful day. And we're surrounded by friends, family. It was beautiful. And I want to send Nico a shout out. I love you, man. And it's beautiful, my brother. You came out a winner. Todo gracias a Dios, papá.
So
that's my clip of the week.
So thank you.
On a bright note.
Yeah, thank you, Socio, for sharing that. And like you said, F cancer. We love you, Nico. And Nico Cantor, you didn't know that you were gonna have to share a moment of the week, or if if we were gonna ask you, but if you have a moment of the week, we don't have a video or anything, but is there anything you can recall that you can share with us that could be your moment of the week?
Yeah, so for sure, there's nothing that can beat that video that we saw. And let me just say a little bit about Nico. Nico is the most hardworking person in this industry that I know. He's relentless in everything that he wants to do, and he has these visions and he creates. And when I started in this industry, I had the bad luck of sitting next to Nico for 3 years, and had to get bullied by him, and through bullying we became very good friends, and I got to learn a lot from him and his professionalism. And when we found out this news of his cancer, we were all touched, but the fact that he was able to persist like he does in his professional job, and now with this challenge, he's been able to persist and go over any obstacle that has presented to him in his life. And as a friend, it's very touching to see him win. It's a victory that life has given him through strength, his faith, his family, his kids, and I'm super glad that this is where we are. And it's honestly it's amazing to see.
Yeah. And I rarely drink on these episodes, but today I have the boot. I filled it all the way to the top.
I need a little beer to celebrate as well.
But this way, I'll give you a second.
Over here.
But this one's for Nico. So
yeah, definitely, absolutely. I taught Nico how to serve mate, so at least that came in handy.
Oh, thank God, man, because he served me once, and let me tell you, la verdad que it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. I
gotta teach him better.
The first time that his son Enzo, I think, actually drank mate was at my house, and I made it for him, and he loved it. So if Enzo is out there listening, and you're still drinking mate, brother, I was the one who taught you. I served you your first one. So,
by the way, now that I can mention my moment of the weekend, since Nico had such a beautiful moment this week, he also had a horrendous moment losing to Boca. Vélez lost to Boca this weekend with a man up. They had tied the game, and immediately after they had tied the game, Boca goes down a man, and they still lost. So life is about balances, the yin and the yang. It was a little bitter moment, but that little bitter moment doesn't compare with the amazing remission that announcement that we all saw on social media today and on this show.
It's funny
we were watching that game with
Yeah, we were watching
Daddy and Guachín in the stands de la Barra Brava de Inter Miami, texting Nico, 1-1, roja. Nunca respondió, just left us on red.
Yeah.
So let's get into the rest of the show here. So, I want to start off quickly with a little video for our listeners to kind of introduce Nico if you don't already know him. He's been all over TUDN, Univision, with CBS, the Golazo show. So if you don't know him from there, you're gonna definitely know him from this clip. So let's go right into it.
Se va a meter en la semifinal de la Copa del Mundo, Marruecos. Y rezarán. Allah, 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 Allah.
Man, that's the last 20 seconds. The build-up to this is ridiculous.
I know. I couldn't share, the whole thing but let me tell you, just to start off, how could you not watch that and just, feel not touched? I mean, unbelievable. I know, you had a few questions on that for you. So I'll let Socio go off before I hit you with a tough one at the end.
First and foremost, how did it feel to go viral allá? Because that hit hard over there. I saw comments and retweets. Dude, pegó duro. How was that?
Still, it's like anything I post about Morocco now on my social media. It's the reception I get is unbelievable. I didn't expect to go that viral in Morocco because it's in another language, and the love and how I felt touched by the amount of people that have reached out to me because of it's not even a goal call. It's a commentary at the end of the game. It's only soccer can do that. An Argentine Honduran American kid broadcasting for a Spanish language radio station for the US goes viral in Morocco. And there's so many key moments that led to this incredible relationship I formed with the country of Morocco and its people.
Yeah.
It's the instance, right? It's the quarterfinals of the World Cup. They made it to the semifinals of a World Cup. In fact, it's crazy how destiny works. My dad, they were doing assignments, and he told me, look, for the quarterfinal, I can give you Brazil, Croatia, but that means that you won't be able to see Argentina at the stadium. But if you don't do Brazil, you'll do Morocco, Portugal. And I had done Portugal, Switzerland a couple days before, and I wanted to watch Argentina at the stadium, so I said, yeah, let's do it. Of course, I mean, any quarterfinal game is amazing, and it's the right place, the right time, and the feeling I got in that moment. Everything that you see there is genuine. I didn't rehearse it. I didn't practice it. It was just I was getting so hyped in that moment because you live for those type of moments to witness that live, and it was happening. And as we were getting closer to the 90th, it was like, yo, they're gonna qualify. They're gonna beat Portugal. It's happening. And I wanted to step up to the moment because I could see. I was looking around. I was just conscious of the moment. They were suffering, the Moroccans. They were like having panic attacks, like they're heavy breathing. You could see in their chest, their face.
Feel that energy.
And when they won, as I'm looking around, and you see that they're crying, just this release. It's like this cathartic moment. And the key to the whole thing going really viral was the Allah, Allah, Allah part. It came naturally to me because I saw them praying, and in many Northern African countries, Arabic countries, Middle Eastern countries, especially being in the Middle East, how important it was that for the first time ever, not only it was an African country, but mainly Muslim country qualifying to the semifinal. And at that stage, with the whole world watching them, there were players kneeling and praying. And I thought it was such a symbolic moment because it had never happened in the history of the World Cup. So I kind of wanted to transmit that feeling. And once now, after my trip to Morocco, I realized that if I had not said Allah, 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 it wouldn't have been that viral. That part was key to everything.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad you brought that up. Give me 1 second. I'm glad you brought that up, Nico. About your recent trip. How was that? How's the Moroccan culture, and how's that atmosphere now? A couple months still after the World Cup, and even though what they did, how was that?
So I think these guys are going to be heroes forever, because not only did they achieve the something so glorious, they achieved something unthinkable. Nobody in Morocco thought that they were going to make the semifinals of the World Cup. Impossible. Semifinals of the World Cup.
I think you can say nobody in the world thought that Morocco would make it. Maybe only them, believe that they can make it as a team.
Not even them. As a player, you
have to believe you can make it. Right. But I'm saying nobody in the world. If you would have said before the World Cup started, I guarantee you, maybe 1% of the world would have had Morocco in the semifinals, right?
Totally.
You're odd better, but
right.
And crazy enough, now that I've learned a lot about the Moroccan culture, and I've learned a lot about their football culture. They love football. They are crazy for football. I think they're perhaps one of the most underrated soccer countries in the world when it comes to atmosphere, when it comes to passion of the fans. Like, it's not just like I went to the Club World Cup and I saw Wydad, which is one of the main teams in Casablanca. I saw Wydad against Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia, and the Wydad fans were nonstop. like all that whistling. Remember the whistling in Qatar when they wouldn't have the ball
Yeah.
the whole time? It was that for 90 minutes, and Wydad didn't have a lot of possession. They wouldn't, I would think, okay, first 20, no, the whole game, and the chanting, and it's very much, it's different to South America because they don't sing. It's not like going to a game in Argentina or a game in Uruguay where they're singing their songs, long songs with a lot of lyrics. It's more chanting, but it's like it's super intimidating because everybody's there, and on top of that, it's organized. The tifos that they have, they had a crazy tifo for that game at the Club World Cup, but it happens every weekend in Morocco, and it's not just Raja and it's not just Wydad. It's the teams in Rabat, it's the teams in Tanger, it's the teams. Everybody has this,
the whole
they want to show their support, and on top of that, to finish, to round up this thought, to make it so unique. I think a great example of this fandom and how healthy it is in the derby in Raja against Wydad. They play in the same stadium in Casablanca, and half of the stadium is Raja and half of the stadium is Wydad, and they see it as a weakness when you fall into violence, when you take it overboard in that sense. If you're fighting, that means that they're chanting God to you, and you don't have a response in the fandom. You just gotta chant louder and sing a song and return it with a song. And once the game is over, it's done. Whereas in South America, a lot of times,
chant a little louder y le querés romper la cabeza al otro.
That provocation ends up in and fights and in the 90s and in there's deaths happen. So I thought that was unique, and I think it's a microcosm of the Moroccan culture in general, about how generous and understanding and tolerant they are.
Nice. I want to get back to something that you addressed in the first question that Socio talked about, how you said how you got so passionate, and it was just in the moment that you just kind of went with it. I'm always so curious. I've been watching soccer my entire life. I'm 37 years old, so I watched your dad. I watched other Jorge Ramos and other people relatar, and I always wonder how can you, as kind of like an outsider, because you're not you have no attachment to either team, how can you get so passionate and just connect like that with a team and just go with it? I can never, and I always have that trouble myself, like with any team that's not Nacional or Uruguay or whatever that I follow. How do you do that? And I'm sure a lot of our fans want to know that too.
Yeah, great question, actually. Man, I love soccer. I love it, and I sympathize a lot with fans and because soccer is about the fans at the end of the day, and I kind of get obsessed with how fans are so devoted to either like a club or their country. The country, it's almost it's easy to empathize with what they're living because I think in a way Daniel, you do it the same way with Uruguay. My mom and my mom's family do the same thing for Honduras, and I see how I see those struggles, and I know for Honduras, for them to get out of the World Cup group is massive, and I recognize how important that moment is. And I feel it. I'm touched by it. In that commentary towards the very end, I say, "Por esto vivimos." This is what we live for. And when soccer gives you these moments, I love how sports. Only in sports can you have these type of moments, and every 4 years we wait for this to happen, and it happens, and it delivers. And for example, on the Golazo show, where we're in Europa League, for example, I've kind of gotten obsessed with the stories of Union Berlin and Freiburg, two German teams that this season have just put together these unexpected campaigns, and these fans, they can't believe it. it's so crazy that this is happening, and you can't help but want them to win. Obviously, you got to be objective, right? I can't be like in the final moments Union is getting eliminated. But
Right.
like this weekend, I found myself like Bayern scored against Union. They cooked them, and I was like, oh, they conceded earlier. Like no.
This is
right.
You know, I want Union to win because those are the amazing stories. First of all, it's an underdog story, and how can you not? And you just end up falling in love with these stories, and I think soccer is sports, but especially soccer, because I think soccer allows you to have such a cross-cultural understanding of so many things that no other sport can give you. Like, I know so much about Turkey. I have some of my best friends from life. I became friend. They're Turkish, and the first topic of conversation, soccer. And I've gotten to know. I know the Turkish Super League, one of the best leagues I know because of my friends. You know, and it's a cross-cultural thing.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, and I'm glad that you brought up the Golazo show, because I kind of wanted to head into that direction next. And I know, you know, Socio has something special that he wants to ask you there at the end. But before we get into the, you know, into the Golazo show, you mentioned, you know, how in Uruguay, I mean, I can understand and I can empathize with Morocco and getting into the World Cup, and then I can also empathize with Union Berlin, how you say, you know, these underdogs, it's like a Leicester story. Just like how, you know, we all empathize with Socio this season with Arsenal. Arsenal's the underdog story. Unfortunately for them, you know, it's been tough. And so, you know, in the chats, you know, we're all empathizing with him. You know, even one of our you know, good friends, he's a Chelsea fan.
You better win
for Arsenal.
You better win. You better win.
Oh, we're overachieving. I said from the beginning, top 4. And I said, I'll say here, para que la gente vea. I said at the beginning of the season, Arteta, we make top 4, I have to publicly apologize because I'm not going to lie, I was Arteta out.
Okay.
If we don't make...
Y ahora salen campeón.
We're overachieving.
Okay.
No, ahora
top 4 and apologies. Salen
en la rodilla.
No, he has to get Arteta's face on his butt. No doubt. Absolutely. No. I mean, you heard it here live. If Arsenal wins, Socio has to get Arteta's face on his butt. I mean,
no, chill.
Absolutely. I mean, it has to happen.
Again, we're overachieving. We're overachieving. But yeah, right now I'm riding a high. Of course, every week I'm going to tell you. Top of the league. Papa.
All right, well, going into the Golazo show. So, Nico, you had a chance, you know, working on that show to work with a lot of interesting personalities. You know, some of the likes of Roberto Martinez, you know, Socio's favorite, Thierry Henry, and, you know, some other football greats. How has it been, you know, to be able to be in the presence of some of those, you know, legends and really kind of learn from them and I guess really just talk to them, because some of us, you know, we don't know, we don't get the chance to do that. So how does it feel to do that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and sometimes, you know, for me it's almost never normal having a conversation with Thierry Henry and explaining and sometimes at some points you're not even talking about soccer, you know, like I'm there, I could be talking about soccer all day, but de repente Henry's talking to you about something that's not soccer, and it's crazy. It's crazy how football, imagine, Henry is such a cultured person. And he knows so much about the Latino culture, for example. And we speak in Spanish, you know, we speak in English, we speak in French. But also with Jamie and Micah, you learn a lot about their perspective and the stuff that they've lived. I worked for a really long time with Gustavo Poyet, Uruguayan legend, and you know he's had so many stories about the Premier League back in his day. Before I was watching, he was playing. I was, I don't know, like 10, 9, even younger, in the 90s, when he was like at Zaragoza and winning Copa America with Uruguay. But we've become friends, and you know, I've been to his house and I've met his family. He's met my girlfriend. Like, it's just kind of crazy to hear all these stories with Freddie Ljungberg as well, who's the most low key guy. He's the most low key guy for how elite he was, or how much he maintained himself in the elite. He's like the most chill person. Like if I got agrandado playing high school soccer, like back in the day, I thought it was the fucking best. Like, this guy should be the cockiest, like cockiest of the cockiest, the most arrogant. He won the Premier League, part of the Invincibles. Humility is too little of a word for him. Like, he's more than humble. It's crazy.
Canté le queda chiquito.
It's crazy to see how, honestly, and it's awesome because, you know, we've become friends as well, and I've heard so many crazy stories about the Invincible, about the inner workings of Arsenal at the time with Wenger and stuff like that. Just, you can pick their brains, and it's honestly it's a privilege to get to do that show and being in London with so many brilliant minds of football.
Absolutely. And you know, let's not play it off. It's not all, you know, play for Nico on that show. I mean, you go over there and you have to leave your family here and, you know, your loved ones here, and you go over there for a couple weeks at a time, and it's hard work. So it's not, you know, you go out there and spend time with these legends and all that. I mean, Nico goes out there and it's a tough job. So, you know, I want everybody to know that, because I know that, and then, you know, folks that don't know you personally don't know that. So it's important for them to know that it's not an easy job that you do. So we appreciate that you do it, and we all watch your show. So
thanks, man.
We love it. So I know Sosa has something special he wants to ask you there. Before
it was a question, but we already went over it. Pero Nico, yo, get Titi to send me a shout out, dog. Un videito, un saludo.
Titi?
Look at that. Yeah, hell yeah. Look at that.
There you go. All right, we can work on that.
There's something for that. This is
bueno, sí, dale también para eso. Not even.
Sería lindo, eh?
But socio at this point, nah, not the podcast. For me.
Shoot. That's what he's gonna text you later. Forget what Solana said. Don't listen to what Solana said, bro. Just send me the video. That's what he's gonna tell you. But I'm saying, like, hey, let's do one for the podcast. You know, if we can get two.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, but let's move into the next topic. So, you know, we have Champions League coming up next week. We know that you're very involved in European football, Nico. You know, I want to get some of your takes on some of these matchups coming up. We have a lot of really nice second legs coming up, so I'm going to put it up here on the screen so everybody can see. So, you know, we've got a lot of interesting games coming up next week, a lot of close scores, other than, you know, unfortunately that big thrashing of Real Madrid over Liverpool in the middle of last week. But other than that, I mean, every series seems to be pretty manageable and seems to be able to be, you know, turned over. So I want to know, you know, first what you think, Nico, of all of these, you know, legs, which do you think has the possibility of being flipped?
I mean, they're all pretty much in the balance. I would say that maybe Frankfurt, out of the teams that they have very slim possibilities, I think Frankfurt won't, and Liverpool won't.
Okay.
And you know who else? I think Bruges is going to have a tough time winning that one. But everything else, it can go either way. Obviously, I think Chelsea's going to be out. Dortmund is on fire right now. I don't know with Spurs Milan. I see potential in Spurs, although it's not pretty. They're slowly finding their form. I think it's going to be great that they have Højbjerg back. They didn't have Højbjerg for the first game. And the midfield, when it's Bentancur and when it's Højbjerg, it's a very different Spurs.
Venta's done,
So, but they didn't have either of them in the first leg. And Milan is this very chippy side. They haven't been able to convince me at all season long. Like, they'll win and then they'll lose a lot, and then I don't know. You don't know which Milan you're gonna get. And at Spurs, there's hope, and Harry Kane can do whatever he wants. I think if the wingers this season haven't been at the level that they were, especially Son and maybe even Kulusevski. Like last
Richarlison
season,
muerto. They wasted money there.
Richarlison, I don't know. I think
we'll get there now.
I think Spurs has a possibility of turning that around, and we know how PSG Bayern can be. Bayern is not that impressive at the moment.
Before moving on from Tottenham, Tottenham's been doing well without Conte. These last 4 games that they've had a good run. Es sin Conte, es con the interim manager.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still Conte, right? It's not like he's like just completely removed.
It's his system, but somebody else running it essentially.
But it's working with him on
just like right now, I know Nico's watching and he's telling you guys what to say for the whole show. You know,
that's what you think.
That's why we haven't touched Liverpool.
That's what you think, but today everything is right here. And Nico is not in the production. You know, that's why today the production might be a little rough.
That's why we avoided Liverpool today.
You know, we're gonna get into it because I'm not gonna lie. I think Alvarito Rodriguez might get the start.
The reason why.
Might get the start, and he might lay 1 or 2 on them. And it'll be interesting if a young 20-year-old Alvarito Rodriguez puts 2 on Liverpool, because he's gonna be calling for the national team now.
You think he'll start? Say it without the Uruguay shirt on.
Don't get him started. Exactly.
Without the Uruguay shirt on. Yes. Do you know why? I think because with all the amount of games that Real Madrid is going to be playing now, since they had, they went to the Club World Cup and they had those games, they're behind now in La Liga. So they're going to need to have some sort of recambio. And if you're coming home and you're up 3 goals on Liverpool, I think it's a possibility that he starts and you rest Benzema. I don't know.
I would flip it. Who do they have at the weekend? Real Madrid. I don't know. Let's look it up. But I would start him at the weekend. I would start him at the weekend against.
Yeah, and give him the last 30 minutes contra Liverpool.
Possibility.
Copa del Rey el jueves.
Liverpool. They have Barcelona. Then they have Betis. Sunday. Espanyol. There's 3 games. They've got Barcelona, which Benzema will play. At Betis is a big game, and then I think Alvaro. I think he's gonna in one of those 3 games. Okay, for sure he's not gonna start the Barca game, and he's gonna start either Betis or Espanyol. If we're saying that he's gonna start, I think he'll start Espanyol. I think it's way too arrogant of Real Madrid to start a youngster
to give him the nod for that game
in a Champions League match, because
just because you're by 3.
Crazy.
Hold on.
Champions League is crazy. Liverpool es un gigante de Europa.
But even with the Real Madrid mystic that Nico always talks about, Real Madrid mystic, I don't know.
You're pushing the Uruguay agenda, por eso.
But I agree. I agree. It would
Liverpool
be a little
also has mystique. Liverpool also has this. That
Istanbul.
I mean, they scored 3 goals in 45 minutes. Who's to say that they can't do it in 90 minutes? Obviously, in Bernabeu, it's going to be very tough. But it's not. They're not winning by 3 goals against Shakhtar Donetsk. They can't give themselves that luxury in a Champions League match, huh?
Didn't Liverpool flip it on Barcelona a couple Champions Leagues ago?
Sí, but Barcelona.
Right. Oh, but that's what I'm saying. It's a possibility. I mean, they're not playing that good, but they also have that mystic that anything can happen. In Champions League, like you said, anything can happen. So but all right. Well, I want to get into another topic here, because I think we talked the hell out of the Champions League, sick of the Champions League. But I want to get into talking about something that we've talked a lot about lately on a lot of our episodes, and that's the U.S. men's national team. And I know that's something that you've been very close to, because that's another one of your, relatos that I've heard that you've done, and it's another very good one. But I want to get your take on, kind of what happened with, the whole Gio Reyna and, Greg Berhalter thing, and then moving on from that, as a second parter. I want to know who do you think is the favorite to become the U.S. men's national team coach?
So the Gio Reyna thing, I think Gio's over it.
About someone.
And I think I think Berhalter was done before any of this happened. Like the timeline and the sequence of events starts with Berhalter at this leadership conference where he kind of had named no names, but essentially alluded to someone with poor behavior that almost got kicked off the national team, but they dealt with it. And it was obviously Gio Reyna, we found out.
See.
And I think by just those are like things that you got to keep in house. You took care of it in house, nobody found out, done.
Yeah, leave it there. Yeah.
Done. You don't need to say, and I think by saying that and those comments leaking, Berhalter had made his own bed. And I don't think you could have. I don't think you can regain the trust of the locker room.
Exactly.
It's a violation of trust. How do you have credibility with your best players if you're not ratting out, but just airing dirty laundry with non-soccer with away from the group, and then the whole thing with Claudio and Daniel Reyna, the mom, happened. That
petty as fuck,
ridiculous, petty, and just childish.
Shit that used to happen in our club teams and shit.
We just need a new manager to sort things out and turn the page. But the thing is that someone needs to come in to that locker room that these kids, I would say kids, I mean, they are very young. They're still in their early 20s, that they respect. Are you pointing to the Thierry Henry shirt?
That's who he was. We've thrown around a lot of names here on the This Is Football podcast. We've thrown around Bielsa. We've thrown around Tata Martino. A couple of our guests, Chelo Balboa said obviously the obvious choice would be Jesse Marsh. We've talked about Jim Curtin from Philadelphia, possibly Brian Schmetzer from Seattle. I mean, those are the obvious. Do you think it's time for the U.S. to make a splash? Because we tried to make a splash back in the day with the Jurgen
Klinsmann.
With Jurgen Klinsmann. And I don't know if it was the right time yet to make the splash, but I think now is, and I think you're agreeing, right, Nico?
It's time to hire someone with winning experience, and the crazy part is that they have the only competition really that they're playing in is Gold Cup that comes once every and Nations League, but Nations League doesn't really matter until the last two games, which is not good for the development. You got to be playing. You got to find somehow to play important friendlies against top tier talent, because you're just gonna have glorified friendlies. Right. And who wants to come in, sit in, and take this job? If you're an elite coach, I said we had this discussion recently on air. I forgot on which show, but I think Jose Mourinho would be a good fit for this team. I think the players would give him the respect. I think the press in the United States would give him the respect. And I think it would be a good fit. It doesn't matter if it's or defensive. For these players, he'd learn to grind out wins and get difficult wins and figure it out. But the thing is, if Mourinho makes Champions League, I highly doubt he's going to leave Roma in the Champions League to take on the U.S. men's national team, where he's playing once or 3 times every couple of months. So it's not easy right now. It's not easy to go find a coach. There's not that many top managers available right now that you can just go pluck out of a hat and be like, hey, there's a great world-class manager. Yeah, let's do it. Roberto Martinez is in Portugal. He took a job immediately. That would have been a good fit as well. There's so much talent, and I think these guys need someone that knows how to European educated that knows how to get this talent together and take it to the next step. Because what is the next step? I think the U.S. had enough talent to beat Netherlands, for example, and to make it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. But collectively, maybe they're not as good as the Netherlands. Netherlands obviously just has another level of class that the United States hasn't developed yet because it's a young team. But hey, guys, we only have one shot. It's the 2026 World Cup at home. Minimum quarterfinals for all.
Audio is a good shot.
This generation.
He's great for short tournaments. Yeah.
This generation, this we've been talking it up so much, and if they don't make the quarterfinals, at least,
fair.
I would consider it a failure.
One kind of data note that I want to throw out there, and it's something that it was shared with me over the weekend, and it's funny that you mentioned Jose Mourinho as a coach, but did you know, Nico and Socio, that there's never been a international ever win a World Cup?
A foreign manager,
foreign coach.
Stats are meant to be broken.
Hey, I agree, but we'll see. So I want to dedicate
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at one point in our lives with football being so international. It's gonna happen, and I think we'll find a trend. We'll find it being more mixed in the future, I think.
Ancelotti con Brazil.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt it. And not only that, I think the U.S. will. I'm a big criticizer of the U.S. men's national team on Twitter. I know, a lot of people have seen that, but I do think the U.S. will win a World Cup in my lifetime. I do think that because we are competing. We're getting better. Our athletes are just getting better, and I just think what we need is better coaching. I think we need, maybe like you said, Nico, some international coaching, somebody to come in, straighten out the locker room and just get those kids playing. But I do think we will win the World Cup in my lifetime. I do that. I
don't know about all that. El equipazo that Argentina had, and on top of that, you had to add El Enano. No. we don't have anybody. I don't know about that one.
I think it's crazy with the athletes.
I don't know
that we
about
have.
lifetime.
Los muchachos que juegan todos los deportes en este país.
Yeah, but those are the ones that are making.
But we can't find one killer 9 in 300. No. Okay, pero un 9.
No, te entiendo.
How have we not produced a Raúl Jiménez in his prime? Hey Siri, what's the population of the United States? 332 million people. Let's say half of them male. You can't find one guy that's a beast at scoring.
But Nico, we could spend 5 shows talking about that topic because we really, we know, and we actually dedicated one show to that topic, which was youth soccer down here in South Florida, and we're gonna dedicate.
He's here. The 9, he is in the country. I know that for it. I have all the belief and the confidence that killer athlete, that killer 9, is in the country. We just
haven't found him, and we're not find in the right places. And look, and that's why, and I want to shift the last 15 minutes of the show to Inter Miami, because we went to the game this weekend, and I want to show some footage and really
excited.
I really am.
La carita.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to talk about it. So, but let's yeah, man. Let's show the fans, a few, pictures of what we got out there. We had some nice seats.
Let me interrupt you. As you're showing that picture, show them that picture. So we get there, the tickets that he buys from StubHub, viejo, gone, disappeared, no confirmation, no nothing. Le quitaron los $27 a este man. We're at the ticket booth, bam, bam, bam. It's adorable. Dina, shout out Dina. We let her know about our podcast yesterday because she's watching. Comes up to us with her husband, un man en sus 60 por ahí. long white hair. Guys, are you looking for tickets? Me and Danny are like, yeah. We just, for some reason, his tickets. Come. We have 2 extra tickets. We have 4. Bam, we're walking. Me and this guy are looking at each other. For some reason, when me and this guy hang out or do something that isn't supposed to happen happens. And in always positive ways, thank God. It's never been negative or anything.
Yeah, but look, this is
out of nowhere. And look at our seats were up there. One behind the booth where the commentators are at, to my left, 4 seats down. Fernando Fuyore, así, rascándose los huevos, chilling, watching the game. Great seats.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely it was great to get out there. It was, we got some nice shots out there. We were there to chill with La Familia. It was really wonderful.
Great game, by the way.
Definitely, it was a fantastic game. We got some shots of each other.
La mejor barra MLS.
Have you had a chance to get out to DRV PNK Stadium, Nico?
So I'm trying to go maybe next Saturday. I was gonna be there this Saturday, and something came up and I couldn't make it happen. But I'm trying to go next Saturday. It's crazy because before I started working for CBS, I was covering Inter Miami. I would be there several times a week. And I was at the stadium for those first games in COVID when you couldn't sell out the stadium yet. And it's crazy how much it's changed. And it's awesome to see the Latino culture in Miami. And funny enough, at the FIFA the best ceremony that the Argentina fans won best fans of the year.
Yeah.
Amongst one of the Argentina, it's called them barras, is Cachito, which is this figure, this Argentine figure of fanatics, right? Lives in Miami, and he was at the World Cup. Obviously, he's one of the main guys that when you think of Argentine fanatics at the World Cup, it's this guy Cachito, and from what I see, he's one of the people that runs one of the Las Barras in Inter Miami. So you're saying it's the best barra in the league? Well, we got some of the best barras in the world and the best barras of the league. So it's awesome to see that. And I mean, not only Inter Miami, but throughout the MLS, there's this Latino influence of barras and of fanaticism that
we need
awesome.
to step our Tifo game up.
I mean, you go to an Atlanta United game, and 80% of their chants are in Spanish.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And you have the American. I mean, the first ever MLS game that I went to post the fusion and all that was at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I told Greg Garza that the other night, and I sat in the supporters section, and you have these Americans chanting "Dale, dale, 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 dale." And I'm here like, "Dale, vamos arriba, carajo!" And I'm like, vamos, like, and it's just it gets you going. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been critical about going to the stadium, and I've been critical about going to see Inter Miami because I don't want to make the drive. I said I wasn't gonna go till they moved to Miami, but we made a promise to the fans. We went out there, and
awesome.
Let me tell you,
and it was wet the whole time.
The hospitality and Socio, you can echo my sentiment. Hospitality A1.
That was great. That was great. That little Vice City corner.
Yep. Hey, Nico, we got in. Nos dieron un choricito. Nos preguntaron, ¿quieres un fernet con coca, una cervecita, algo? It was like that. It was like
buenísimo. Well, I hope I can get there on Saturday and get the Vice City hospitality as well that you guys got.
I'll be there. So if anything, text me and I'll get you in. I know a couple of the guys. I know you know a couple of the guys. I know a couple of the guys. Let's go and we'll have the choripans together and we'll talk about the show and some soccer. So, but I'll tell you, like I said, I've been very, very critical. But I have to say, I love my experience there. Absolutely love my experience.
That's awesome.
Here's a video, Nico. Here's a video of the second goal, man. Because I want you not to only experience a good view, but you need to go to La Barra at least for a half, because that's what me and Socio did. First half, we experienced in nice seats. Second half, we went with La Familia, and look at it. It's beautiful. Come on. I mean, it's beautiful. I don't, it's not every day that you get to see this in Miami. That's beautiful. So, other than that, I want to bring one other thing up that, one of our followers actually, and I'm going to show the question out here. He had asked, Frankie had asked, he's late and he wanted to know if the stadium was sold out. And just in case anybody's joining us really, really late, I haven't really mentioned it, but Nico Cantor is joining us on the show today as a special guest. So, but I want to put another little picture up on the screen, because it was something that came out on Twitter the other day from an MLS account, MLS Network, where they showed the amount of, I guess, attendance figures. And I thought it was a little unfair. So I kind of responded, to that person and said, let's look at it a little bit differently. Yeah, there was almost, 69,000 people there in Charlotte. But if you look at it, it was only 92% sold out. You look at Inter Miami, we were down here on the list with only 17,655. But we were 98% sold out. And the place was rocking. I will tell you, Socio will tell you, it was full. Beautiful. It was amazing. Nobody left earlier. Everybody was. So I think it's a little unfair to show that stat.
Yeah,
I hope this Philly game va lo mismo. We're gonna need it for the Philly game.
You know what's important? I think Bielsa had said it, that one of the most important things you could do for the growth of soccer is support your local soccer. And I know that Fort Lauderdale is a drive and a half for us that live in Miami. But I think, the stadium experience, if it's worth it to go up on a Saturday and what time were you back, for example?
So we went up really early because we wanted to get some footage and stuff. So we left like around
3:30.
Around
3:30. Llegamos a las 4:45.
Yeah.
4:45.
Yeah, it took about 40.
And got back 10:30.
30 minutes.
11. Yeah, the drive back's easier.
Yeah,
but drive up. Oof.
Look, I think for now they're gonna get support. I think they found people to want to go to Fort Lauderdale, and the more you develop this, the team, and the better the team gets, the more that people want to go, right? But I think it's gonna be something else when the team moves to Miami, because they built the whole selling point of this franchise was in Miami. And it's crazy that it's like history repeats itself, and they're at the old Lockhart site, and we're finding ourselves doing the same things that we were doing 20 years ago, and I think they know that, and we all know that this is temporary, and once they can get, I think it's called Miami Freedom Park, where Maurice Golf Course is in front of the airport. Once they have that, I think that's going to be amazing. I think that little area is going to be
a mile away.
Nico, I have insider information that the loan has been approved, and the construction will get started sometime at the end of March. So,
wow.
On Saturday, I'll let you know how I know that insider information. But unfortunately, I can't let the listeners know. That's just some insider information.
You got to protect your sources.
Absolutely,
you gotta tell anybody. But that's gonna be the next stage. That's this whole vision that Jorge Mas and Beckham had on the outset of this team. When you play in Miami, and I think that's gonna be the next level. I think that's when you're going to be able to attract real stars, and especially in Miami, like, I think Miami needs stars. I think Higuain was a good start, but when are we going to get somebody in their prime that's bossing?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Kind of like a Lorenzo Insigne for Toronto. Where's someone that is still able to play at a top level, like, or what Chicharito, I guess, was in a sense for LA. I think from a marketing
Rescue
perspective, it
Pulisic
was
from
great.
Chelsea.
You know, I had.
Rescue Pulisic from Chelsea. Tráiganlo para acá.
I mean,
Imagine.
that would be fantastic. Why not? I mean, that would be a dream signing.
Yes, but for Inter Miami, it needs to be a Latino. It's got to be someone to make them the face, to make the face of the club.
Look, that's been a topic on a lot of our shows, and we've gotten back and forth from some people on that. I agree with you. And look, I know we say it needs to be somebody in their prime, but I had an interaction today with somebody over Twitter, and it's funny that that Frankie says that, and I'm going to that, but you know,
shocking.
What Suarez is doing in Brazil, I mean, he would have been amazing here. I mean,
yeah, I think Suarez would have been. The thing is that Suarez didn't have Inter Miami didn't have the discovery rights on Suarez. So if he was to sign for an MLS squad, it would have been for LA. I think it was
LAFC.
Was it LA?
Isn't it like 30, 40 grand for that though?
It was LAFC had the discovery rights. So there was talk that he was going to go to LAFC. And then that never really materialized. And I think eventually he wanted to come to Miami. And I think
for example, I think
like $50K.
Right, but I don't know if you can pay off that discovery right, for example. Anyway, but Suarez, for example, would have been unbelievable at Inter Miami in the sense that a legendary figure. And yeah, what he's doing in Brazil now, I think we need to take it with a grain of salt because it's not the Brasileirão and it's the Campeonato from Porto Alegre, which is you're playing second and third division teams.
But it's similar to the MLS. Let's be honest. I mean,
it's less traveling and it's local. Yes. Suarez is Suarez. I think he would have a lot of fun scoring in the MLS. But
I think
we can't wait
to have a lot of fun scoring in the MLS.
Who?
I think a lot of somebody else gonna have a lot of fun scoring in the MLS, and he's a lefty, and he's gonna be coming this summer. I don't know. I don't know,
bro. I hope.
Or I mean, yeah,
he won't get to enjoy the new stadium though.
That would be crazy. That is what everything that you
worked for,
hope to achieve early on in Miami. There's nothing better than that. That would be nuts, revolutionary.
Beckham times 10.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if he can win a championship, and I think I don't know. You guys think that if Messi shows up to Inter Miami, he can change the team like that, and he'll be? Are Inter Miami immediate championship contenders with Messi on the team?
So this is what I think.
Could you imagine? Give me one second. Could you imagine? No disrespect to any other. Un cualquiera central de un MLS y el enano ahí caminando. What? Knees like this, like Bambi. I don't know. I think immediately you have to put us as contenders.
Yes, but I don't think he comes alone. I think he comes with somebody else. I think he and the rumor has been he comes
with that whole new rule that they just made up for us.
Well, the whole new rule that they just made up where you can buy out a DP in the middle of the season. DPs. So that means bye to Pizarro if he doesn't play well in the first 6 months. And you buy him out. You have 3 open DP spots. You can bring my dream summer signing would be Leo Messi, Busquets, Fidel Di Maria. You bring those 3, sign me up for the next 3 years of championships.
Right. Ciao. I mean, I think Inter Miami, that's the move that Inter Miami needs to make. And I think at the end of the day, that's the vision that Beckham saw from the very beginning, on the outset of this journey building a club, because Miami's sexy. Miami's attractive. You want World Cup champs? No. You got World Cup champs. You gotta have Miami swagger, South Beach swagger. You people will have to come to Miami and be like, oh shit, like Inter Miami with Beckham as the owner. I know it takes time to build something like what Pat Riley did with the Heat, But that's the feeling. That's the feeling you gotta create.
Yeah.
You could find a way to make it so
critical. That's why I've been so critical, and why I think, you know, people have seen me as sort of like a bad guy or you know, overcritical of Inter Miami, is because, you know, when Beckham came in and with Jorge Mas, they kind of sold us an image. Maybe I over expected what it was, and that's my fault, you know. But I was kind of, you know, thinking of the Galacticos of the MLS. That was my vision of what I was seeing.
I mean, I think everybody, I think they want to achieve that, and I think there were a lot of bumps in the road in the sense that, look, they were scrambling to sign a coach from the very beginning, so they already started a couple steps back. Then COVID hit, the pandemic happened, that wasn't good, and then when Marcelo Claudio left. Right. And then all the financial cheating, can we call it cheating? Because I think that's what, if you're breaking the administrative rules.
It wouldn't be Miami, though.
Cheating.
That's what Paul did.
It wouldn't be a Miami thing if we didn't spice it up a little bit.
A little cocaine Cowboys there.
So I think you know, it's gonna take a couple of seasons, and I think in between the sports direction of. Hopefully they can line up the vision of the owners with the sports direction, because I think it's very difficult to manage a team financially and administratively with all the difficult. You got to jump between hoops that the MLS puts on you with all the restrictions that the team has. You got to not only be competitive, you want to sign the best players, and you want to respect the rules. It's a very difficult mix of juggling, but I hope Inter Miami can figure it out, because that's the vision that they sold us. And at the end of the day, as Miamians, we got to support this vision and this team, and hopefully sooner rather than later we get that. And I think I don't think Messi finding Joseph, Messi finding Campana, that's not bad, man. For the MLS. That's not bad.
If I'm Campana and I'm listening that Messi,
his calf stops hurting right now.
Yeah, I'm like pinchame que juego.
Okay. Give me a new calf.
No problem, exactly. So, but hey, man, I mean, I really want to end on that one. I want to thank you, Nico, so much for joining us. Really,
thank you guys.
Grande, Papa. Thank you, man.
For you to come.
Yeah, I know. Thank you guys.
You know, I hope you can come back, you know, again, you know, maybe when we get deeper into Europa League and we can really analyze some of those games. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our fans for watching. This is Football. Don't forget to subscribe to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our YouTube. And don't forget to hit the little bell there. That way you get notified when one of our videos comes out. So thank you so much again. This is Football. Hey, guys, I'm going to be there Saturday. I'm 1-0 so far. I'm going to be there next Saturday. I'm arriba Inter Miami.
I like it. Good luck.